What's good, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Pro and Bro Wrestling Podcast. We are your host. I'm Arnold Telegaarda.
And I'm missing no days off, Fred Rosser, episode 68, one episode shy of episode 69, if you know what I mean. But we got to keep it PG always on Pro and Bro Wrestling. I think it's time to kind of pivot and work backwards and kind of get the 411 on what's been going on with you, what's been going on with me. But, first, you're the OG when it comes to podcasting. Let me start. Check me out. New Japan Strong.
Hey, let's go. Let's go.
Don't get me started, man. But yeah, another episode. This is, again, always a therapy session for me because I do it with my homie, Arnold.
Absolutely, man. And you've been a busy guy these last couple of days. And you don't even know what you're doing. You got me sitting here wondering, like, man, what company is he working with? And you're like, I don't know, man. I'm just here. They flew me out. I'm here.
Yeah.
Well, you want to fill him in on that?
Well, yeah. I think I signed. The NDA.
Oh, that's okay.
No, but look, I think I can say this.
Okay.
It's for a video game company in the Bay Area where they're just using me to just capture all the moves, Yeah. So I got this opportunity. Actually, Eli Drake, LA Knight, new to NXT. He got me the opportunity to do the work, which has been so much fun, bro.
Wow, that's amazing, man. That's really cool. There's so many video games these days that's not WWE related. I know AEW is working on their new video game. I believe it's coming out in 2022, if I'm not mistaken. And I love how they did their reveal because they kind of did what's his name? What's the Apple guy? It's slipping my head.
Oh, QT Marshall?
No. The CEO of Apple, like the guy that passed away. Well, anyways, that guy. Like they had the whole turtleneck reveal, and I thought that was really smart, catering to the pop culture.
What? Oh, what? Steve Jobs or
Steve Jobs? Yes.
Oh, finally, I got it. Finally, we got it. Because like stuff like that, I always have brain hiccups, man. So I'm glad I got a home run on that.
Yeah. So I thought the reveal was really great, and I'm super excited for it. And I think they're kind of just like us. They're kind of taking a step back because they mentioned it's not going to be like WWE 2K20 where it looks super realistic. They kind of want to bring it back a little to, old school, like a little cartoonish in a way, a little over exaggeration on the body types, but still they're going to make it a super fun video game. But I like how they're going in a different route for it,
Yeah, well, definitely I'll give you the 411 because you're my bro on exactly what I was doing. Once we're off air, again, when you sign the NDA, you just got to abide by the rules. But just having the opportunity to do that, fly private from Burbank Airport, they treated me well, So again, I'll give you the 411 on how that went, man. It was a blast. But also with New Japan Strong, myself and Hikuleo, him and I are two big powerhouses. We are the, big guys of New Japan Pro Wrestling, New Japan Strong. And Hikuleo is the younger brother of Guerrillas of Destiny, and he's Meng's youngest son. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I always say at this point in my career, I want to be able to elevate talent. And him and I just posted a couple of week ago some highlights of me and Hikuleo, and it turned out well. And I sent it to, both brothers of Guerrillas of Destiny, like highlights. Hey, man, I'm making younger brother look good. I'm making Boost look good, because I just all the Samoans, the culture, they just listen to my ideas and they put their 2 cents into it. And we're able to tell a great story, man, a physical story.
Yeah.
Trust me, I don't walk out of there unscathed. But at this point in my career, 19 years, September this year, that I've been putting in a lot of time. So to be able to still elevate talent like Hikuleo, 6'9", it's cool, bro.
Hey, speaking of your 19-year career, it's funny because I don't know if you know this, but Kurt Angle has his own podcast now with Conrad Thompson, the Kurt Angle Show. So you know how Conrad has a podcast with Tony Schiavone, Eric Bischoff, Jim Ross, Art Anderson. Well, he added a sixth one, and it's Kurt Angle, and so he's part of that network. And the last episode that he did, he was talking about WrestleMania 21 with the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels, and he was talking about the build-up to that match. And he talked about your segment when you were in the ring with him, and he just talked about how smart it was to have Shawn Michaels come out as the cameraman, and how much he loved that angle. And I thought he just thought it was brilliant. The storytelling was amazing, and it's kind of cool because you were definitely like deep in the trenches, so you know what's up. But I thought it was cool because I don't know if you remember this, but the build up for Shawn and Kurt, it all started with Kurt Angle saying, like, in 1996, I won the Olympic gold medal, but no one talked about it. No one talked about it because they were too busy talking about Shawn Michaels beating Bret Hart in the Iron Man match. And it's hilarious because like Kurt was like talking to Conrad, and he's like,
Keep going.
in all honesty, in 1996, I didn't know who Shawn Michaels was. I wasn't even like watching at the time. So but I just thought the storytelling was amazing. That was a great segue for us to start our the arc of our storyline, and I thought it was cool. I just thought I'd throw it in there since you mentioned your 19-year career, and of course you were in the ring with Kurt and Shawn when they had that build up for the match.
Yeah, well, I don't want to get sidetracked, but episode 68, I probably have mentioned it somewhere, but it's just fitting for me to mention when we were going over that afternoon prior to airing live.
Mm-hmm.
They were telling me what to do. I'm an extra. I'm new. They just said, you're gonna play an officer. And you're gonna grab Shawn Michaels from behind, and they told me to hold on and not let go. So when we rehearsed it, I held on to Shawn, and he was like, "You're supposed to let go." And like, I'm like, "Oh man." And then like the producers was like, Shawn, we told him to hold on. And then he was like, sorry. So like, I mean, he did apologize, but
Yeah.
he had that moment,
Mm-hmm.
that,
Mm-hmm.
we all hear of, but I experienced it. So I'm like, oh my goodness, like that hurt me. That hurt me still to
Oh
this day.
man,
You know what I mean?
if that happened to
Because
me, I would cry for 3 days.
3 days, I'm
Yeah.
still crying. I'm still crying. What are you talking about? You know, uh, I mean, that's your hero yelling at you. You know what I mean? Like, oh my goodness. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? He's a guy I emulated. Like when it comes to selling, that's my bread and butter.
Yeah.
And when it comes to ideas, I always go into matches saying to myself, what would Shawn Michaels do? What would Randy Orton do? What would someone like the Great Muta do? So it's just like those are guys that I pull from.
Right. Right. Well, like Sean could be a newborn Christian, but at the end of the day, he's still a hothead, and I'm sure he'll admit to that. That's just
Yeah,
part of his personality.
but do you remember when Kurt Angle said that at the time he didn't know who Shawn Michaels was, but then there was a period when he first got introduced to wrestling? Did he talk about that? And his first experience was with ECW.
Um, on this one, I don't think on this certain episode, specific episode, he didn't talk about that. I'm sure he did on the first few episodes, because this is episode 4 for him. So I'm sure
But
he.
but do you remember ever hearing that?
I do. I remember that. And he's actually had, Kurt Angle, right off the Olympic gold medalist win or gold medal win, he did talk about, WWE offering a huge contract. And the one thing that kind of made it all fall apart was him telling Vince, at the time he didn't really know what the business was. And he told Vince, like, well, listen, Vince, if I do this, I can't lose. I'm always gonna win because like I'm the gold medalist. I'm
Yeah,
the gold
yeah.
medalist. And that was the sentence that made the deal fall apart. And he's never heard back since. And when he did want to attempt it again, he talked to Jim Ross and he's like, I want to do this again. And Jim Ross like, well, listen, we can't give you the same deal. You know, you got to earn it just like everyone else. So yeah, I do remember that.
Oh wow, yeah. I mean, that's definitely the 411 on that story, man. But yeah, that was just so intriguing that that when he also went to go back to see an ECW show and
Yeah.
they were doing all that hardcore stuff, he's like, "Oh, absolutely not.
Hmm.
This is not for me. What is this crap?" You know.
Yeah.
So that's probably another issue that turned him away. But yeah, I mean, that's great that he's doing the podcast now.
It's great, man. I think as a Kurt Angle fan, you would really love to listen to it. He talks about like stuff that's relatable. You know, he talked about his last match with Baron Corbin and how additionally,
Oh,
how initially he wanted John Cena, but that's just the reason why it didn't work out is because Kurt really wanted to retire that certain year. If he was willing to wait, they would have made it happen. But Kurt's like saying, "This is my last year. Like my body can't continue to do this." So because it was his last year, that's why they couldn't do John Cena because they already had it set for Corbin. But if he went next year for WrestleMania, I'm sure he would have gotten that John Cena retirement match. But it was funny. He was talking about how his last match, he felt like he gained weight, so that's why he wore the black. He's like, oh, I think black is very slimming, so that's why I wore black around my waist. And I don't know if you noticed, but I even got the red, white, and blue flames to go like this, so it distracts from my love handles. So it's a really entertaining podcast, and he's like really open and honest about it, and I love it. You should listen to it.
oh, that is so funny. That is so funny. But I can see that because the people who make the costumes, the seamstresses, they just know how to tailor it to make you look slimming.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're the best, man. They're the best. That is so funny to hear. That is so funny to hear.
But yeah, man. So have you been watching any wrestling these past few days? Everything that's been going on. A lot of things
Uh
happen, man.
well, I mean, we haven't talked about awesome coming out story with Gabby.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Oh man, that slipped my mind. Okay, yes. So the first time I saw that, I think it was one of those like wrestling hub or like, whatever what culture. And I saw that professional wrestler gender change. And at that time, I didn't really know who it was, and I was watching it. I was like, oh my god, like Tyler Rex, right? Like I
Yeah,
was so blown away because out of all people, like Tyler Rex was like if you have a scale of feminism and like masculinity, he's like all the way there, right? This guy looks
yeah,
like Trojan warrior, dreadlocks,
yeah.
beard, and I don't know if you watched some of his interviews recently, but I
Hmm.
watched a couple of them. But man, like I just felt so bad for him. The struggle. Like obviously, you felt it your whole most of your life.
Yeah,
For
yeah,
him to hide that feeling, for him to bury it and think that what he was feeling was wrong, it's heartbreaking, man. And the
yeah,
fact that he said that you know first of all, I think it's cool that his wife is so supportive, but even before he decided to make that official gender change, he would wait for his daughter to go to sleep for him to
hmm,
put on the wig and wear the dress and everything. And once his wife told him, hey, listen, just want to let you know that I'm not attracted to like women. And that's when he kind of felt like, okay, I need to shut this down. And for him to sometimes even open his closet and look at his wigs and he just want to like touch it,
yeah,
because that's who
yeah.
he really is. But he couldn't, like, he felt like he couldn't be that. That's heartbreaking, man. How did you feel when you found out about it?
I mean, Arnold, you said it perfectly, and you spoke from the heart. I say that, like, the same way Randy Orton and Big Show and Mark Henry treated me before I came out, they didn't say two words to me. And then when I came out, they embraced me still to this day with open arms. That's the same way I'm going to treat Gabby, because that's what she deserves.
Yeah.
She deserves the support, that those guys gave me, you know what I mean? So uh, with Gabby, I wasn't as close to her back in the day as now I am. You know what I mean? I'm
Mhm.
sending her messages, showing support, and that's what it's all about, man. So I support him. I support her now more than ever. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
yeah, man. The same way those guys supported me, I gotta support her as well. So I just have to just keep preaching my block the hate in the DMs. I'm always sending video messages showing my support for her. But yeah, man, I think it was something that we needed to touch upon.
Yeah, I think it's cool too because, truth be told, I never really followed Tyler Rex's career. I never
Mhm.
really watched any of his interviews. I didn't even follow him on Instagram. So I never saw him, talk. I didn't know him as a person. But now that
Yeah,
I do see like Gabby and like I watched her stories, like it feels natural. Like I don't know if you've
yeah,
seen like her recent posts, but like she's a
yeah,
musician and she's
yeah,
she's seeing a doctor. She's like taking the right amount of like what hormone injection
yeah,
maybe,
yeah,
and she looks like she's in her natural state. Like
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
exactly.
it's crazy. It's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
and and I just have to be careful with this podcast that, like, I never want to. This is all a learning experience for me, so I never want to misgender her. You know what I mean? I
Sure.
have to, moving forward. Gabby is Gabby. You know what I mean? So, what I knew when I first started Florida Championship Wrestling in 2009, I was training with Tyler Rex. But she is her, and I have to support her, and I always will, even more now than ever.
Yeah.
Especially, it hits home professionally and personally. I'm supporting a family member that is trying to make the transition. Uh, you know, uh, I'm a distant cousin, but very close. At heart. So yeah, none of us are strong as all of us. That's where my whole block tape movement comes in. So I just wanted to touch upon that and not misgender anyone. I'm still learning.
Yeah, and I really appreciate how all his or her wrestling friends are so supportive. You get comments from Matt Cardona saying like, "Oh, we love you, Gabby."
Yes,
I think it's really
yes,
cool to have like the boys have her back like that. And
yes,
yeah, man, like she's happy. Like let her live. Who cares, right?
yes, yes, yes.
But yeah, that was like, but again, like that was a shocker to me because I did not see that coming, man. Did not see it coming.
No, I didn't see it coming at all.
Yeah.
At all. People close to me say, "You thought your coming out story was a big deal?" Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
But like I said, more power to her. I'm
Yes.
supporting Gabby 100%.
Yes, yes. And I know you've been busy, but the last text that I sent you uh, these last couple of days was when Bobby Lashley won the WWE Championship, man. And we were kind of mimicking JR's commentary.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So what, you saw my comments?
I saw your comment,
It
but yeah,
it's like in my feed, it was all like the major Instagrams, so I wrote it out once, that way. Good God, he done did it. He wait, what did I say? Good God, he done did it, or something like that.
yeah.
And I just copy and paste it to like all the major wrestling organizations that came with the verified tag.
Yeah, yeah.
And because I'm happy for him, you know what I mean? So
Oh
it's
yeah.
just like, I didn't see it coming personally. So yeah, I was excited. I was just messaging away.
Yeah, and I think it's really cool because he's the second full African American WWE champion. WWE put up that picture of him, Kofi, and The Rock, and it's a cool looking picture, man. And the Hurt Business, they look so legit because there's almost like a mafia vibe to them. They took that group shot, and Bobby Lashley has the WWE Championship. Shelton and Cedric have the tag team, and you see MVP there with the cane. But the only thing I would
Yeah.
add to that picture is I wish MVP had his jiu-jitsu medal with him, because he had it
Oh,
on Raw a few times after he won the competition. Because we all know, like it's entertainment and all that, and championships are still important, but MVP Jiu-Jitsu Championship, like that's a shoot championship. So I think it would have been like such an amazing picture if he had the cane and the Jiu-Jitsu Championship, and like he's like surrounded by all the champions. Like, man, the Hurt Business was a great idea. Whoever decided to put them together, it's amazing, man.
yeah, yeah, that's interesting, man. But yeah, I know all those guys. They see like they all follow me and they all see my comments and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I'm glad they're all making moves, man. I'm glad they're all making moves. Yeah, but I love the images, man. The
Yes.
images that pop up on my feed.
Hey, I saw that I know you saw this too because you commented, but what do you think of Bow Wow trying to get into WWE, man?
Um, you know, if he's respectful about it, that's what it's all about. When you're respectful about it, why not give it a shot? Give
Yeah,
it a shot. If you're a little guy, maybe if you learn the art,
yeah,
of selling and being like a little Bow Wow Rey Mysterio,
yeah.
yeah, why not? Why not prove people wrong?
Hmm.
Me on the other hand, remember I did a musical back in 2020, so
Yeah,
that's me really stepping out the box. So why
yeah.
not? I can't be a hypocrite and say that he can't do it. But
Sure.
when the other guy, what's the other guy that's beefing with Randy Orton?
Soldier Boy.
Yeah. Now,
Oh,
when you talk
damn.
about you like when you use the F word with me, like we
Yeah.
wouldn't be doing this. We wouldn't be on 68 of Pro Wrestling. You know what I mean? You've never used that word with me.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't use the F word with me. Fake is not. You know.
And one thing with Bow Wow, he gets a lot of hate, and a lot of people don't take him seriously. And I think one of the reason why that is because of his arrogance, right?
Yeah.
But one thing I will say about him is, well, for one, I want to say that I am a fan of his. I have like all his 7 albums. Like growing up, I had like the Beware of Dog, all his stuff. Um, he can back it up. He's a super talented rapper. I think his bars are fire, and he's also a great actor. Like I love like his movies. Not Roll Bounce, the other like all his like with like the Medea movies. With
Yeah.
Rob Perry. Great actor. So whatever he sets his mind to it, whatever he sets his mind to, he can accomplish it. But I think the reason why he's getting a lot of in a lot of people's skin is because he's working them. Like he wants to be like a heel right off the bat. And I don't know if you saw some of his tweets, but he was like
Yeah.
calling the Hurt Business with their JC Penney suits. I think he called out some NXT wrestlers saying, "Oh, how are you going to be in WWE and only have like 70K followers
Yeah.
and all that?"
Yeah.
And he's
Yeah. He
working them,
goes.
man.
Yeah, he goes below the belt, and that's the thing. If I'm gonna be working with them, help me out with some bars, for me to spit at you,
Yeah,
and then we go back and forth. But he definitely goes below the belt, man, and you just got to be able to know how to, take it and have a good comeback. You know what I mean? So, um, yeah, I think he should definitely give it a shot. I believe he's training with Rikishi, so that's I hope he doesn't. I hope he does it. But
yeah.
the soldier boy guy, oh, he makes me sick.
I don't get it, man. I don't get it. I don't get how someone can be that cocky when, in my opinion, like his last hit was like 2007. You know what I mean? Like he pulled the "Do you know who I am" card. Like he pulled that card. He's like, "Do you know who I am?" Like, come on, man. That doesn't look good. Um, but before we move on, just one more thing that I want to touch on with Bow Wow is
Yeah,
that a lot of people feel that this is out of nowhere, but he's actually a WWE fan. A long time ago, when it was The Rock versus John Cena, and they have like a montage of celebrities of like, oh, who do you think's gonna win? Who do you think's gonna win? Bow Wow was in it, and he was like saying, oh, like I got like, I think my boy John Cena's gonna win. And he was actually at that WrestleMania when The Rock beat John Cena. And I would listen to some of his interviews, like Power 106, Big Boys Neighborhood, and they asked when he's like a few years back, and they would ask him like, oh, what do you do in your spare time? And he's like, oh, I'm a weird guy, man. I like sometimes I just like YouTube like old WWF shit, So like he's a true fan. I just want to say that.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Well, I mean, maybe I should give him a shout out because I'd love to help him out.
Yeah.
So I'm all about seeing people succeed, especially if they want it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's definitely not easy. It's definitely not easy. You've been in the ring. It kind of hurts a little bit, right?
Oh, yeah, I did one move, man. And that was enough. That was enough, but
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah, yeah. But didn't you take a back bump?
No, never
Oh,
took a
you
back
didn't take a
bump.
back bump?
Uh-uh.
Oh,
Maybe
oh, maybe I
maybe
was too.
Pedram did that.
Huh?
Maybe Pedram did that.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember.
Uh,
Yeah.
but the Soldier Boy, man, like I've seen Randy in person. Holy crap, dude. Like that's one guy you don't want to mess with. Like this camera doesn't even do him justice. That Randy Orton is a giant.
Yeah, he is, right?
He's one of the big guys, man. Like he's up there.
Uh,
Like it's crazy. Like you don't want to pick a fight with Randy Orton.
yeah, he's just long and I mean he's the big guy. He's just long.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's funny. Speaking of Randy, he was on Edge and Christian's podcast a long time ago, and he was saying that like, man, like I really, really wanted to be in the Wyatt's family like for a long time because I just want to wear their outfits, their clothes, so I can just eat whatever I want and just have a full like heel body because like it's my fault for starting off with these like whitey tidies. Now I had to like commit to them, and as you age, it just gets harder. I just want to like let loose and like I just want to be in the Wyatt family just so I can wear Eric Rowan's outfit and hide everything inside.
Yeah, I mean, as you get older, stuff starts to, hang and sag. And, Randy, he has a great physique,
Yeah.
man. When younger, there was a time when he looked skinny, but it just fit his look and what he was doing. And then there was a time when he couldn't really work out. So he
Why?
got a little bit, because his shoulder.
Oh,
So his physique got a lot smaller. You remember when he was really thin?
chiseled? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't working out because like his shoulders and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, but his physique is, one of the best. One of the best.
Hey, speaking of shoulder injuries, your boy Heath went under the knife yesterday, and I think he's recovering today. Was that an
Yeah,
old injury?
what's that?
Was that an old injury that he just decided to get fixed?
I'm not sure. I guess apparently it happened on impact. I'm not sure. I didn't really get the, details. Him and I do communicate. But yeah, we didn't I don't know how it happened.
Yeah, I don't know either. I just saw that he was like promoting the surgery, like a few more, like 2 more days, one more day.
Yeah, he was promoting the surgeries, and just recently he was promoting the food. Like, hospital food is not the best, but I mean, I never complain. I ate whatever was in front of me because I'm hungry.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, yeah, it is what it is when it comes to the hospital food. But I believe this is first major injury. So, or yeah, first major surgery. So
yeah.
I think he's had. I don't know if he was just having that type of surgery, the shoulder, or was he having multiple surgeries?
I think it was just the shoulder surgery.
Shoulder.
Yeah,
Yeah. Knock on wood. I always say all the time, shoulders are. It's very important for us athletes to take care of our shoulders.
hmm
Shoulder and neck health is so important. I actually did last week. I did a virtual seminar with Santino Brothers Wrestling School. I think there was about 20 students on. I had all my notes and stuff I wanted to hit. And that's what I was telling people, neck health. And I had all my tools here, showing them what I use.
yeah.
Neck health, shoulder health is so important. Um, so and as I always say, take care of your body, because your body is what makes your money.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Did you happen to watch the Elimination Chamber?
No, I didn't check it out.
I was really happy with The Miz, man, winning the WWE Championship. Even though,
Mm,
he didn't hold it for a long time, I just thought it's cool that it was 10 years apart. And, a lot of people, and even him himself, he admitted, I think it was a Renee Young's podcast, he admitted that he thought like he wasn't ever going to get it again. And I think he
mm.
was like, he was starting to be okay with that. But the fact that like he got it, even though if it's just like for a few days, even though it's just for a storyline purpose to build up for another match that doesn't involve him, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, in the books, two-time WWE champion, The Miz. And I think it's really cool because I think this time around he got a different response. The first time he won it, we've all seen the memes of the Miz girl, who's like pouting like this when
Oh,
he like
yes,
it
yes.
when he won the championship. But he said this time around the response was 50-50, and that a lot of people were really happy, and they felt that he deserved it because he definitely put in the work. He's done so much for the WWE, like in the ring and outside the ring, and a lot of people were happy that he got it.
I mean, a few things about The Miz. When he held the Intercontinental Championship and I was feuding with him, he was one of the guys that was going to bat for me, maybe winning the Intercontinental Championship from him at Battleground.
Mhm.
And then, things happen,
Yeah,
things happen. But he was rooting for me to win it. And again, just for me to have that accomplishment would have meant the world to me. And I could lose it whenever, the next day or the next month or however they want to do it.
mhm.
But to just help me get that notoriety, he was down for it. And when it comes to like when it comes to social media, he's always one that's got his hand up that he'll do it.
Yeah,
Leaving a Raw at 11 p.m. and then going 300 miles to another city, getting in 3-4 o'clock, sleeping for a couple hours and then having to be up at 7 a.m. to
that's
be at a
crazy.
school. You know what I mean? Me, I like it because I like being on the go. Like, we're like a rock star for so many years. We're always on the move. We're always on the road. So I enjoy it. Some people don't like doing that. Of course you get compensated, but like some people just don't like doing that busy work. I don't look at it as busy work. I actually enjoy doing it. That's how I got my whole Block the Hate movement over, by
Yeah,
doing the schools and doing all that hospital stuff that I love.
yeah. And I'm also, I'm just so happy for him because I remember like in 2003, I went to a WWE live show and it was at a college. It might have been like UCLA or something like that. And it was at a college gym. And the main event was Rey Mysterio tagging with Dr. Thugonomics, John Cena, wearing his Lakers jersey against the
Oh,
Dudley
what?
Boys.
Oh, was it packed or was it in
It
like
was
a
pretty packed.
gym?
It was pretty packed. It was like at a college gym, but it was pretty
Oh,
packed. It
okay.
was a WWE live event. But as I was leaving, I see the Miz. He wasn't the Miz yet. He was still probably under the Tough Enough deal or something like that. Um, but he was outside and he was just like handing out like little pieces of paper that he just wrote Miz on, and like he was just like passing it out. And I actually got one. I got like the Miz, like like little autograph. And I just remember that moment like being like 17, and then like now like being 34 and seeing how much he's accomplished, like being the WWE champion. Like, man, like I in a way I've seen his journey like from the beginning to now. And I saw him last time when I went backstage on Raw with you, and he introduced himself, he shook my hand and everything. And yeah, it's pretty cool, man.
Shoot, man, I wish you would have said that story to him, man.
Well, we didn't even like talk to him that much. It was just kind of like a hi and bye with him.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you like me, you and I being backstage, all the memories. Me, it was just a blur because it's just like so many faces and all that other stuff. The only moment I remember was with Vince,
Oh my god,
and
yeah.
because that's what, really stuck with me. So yeah.
Well, what stuck with me was I'm thankful that you got me that moment with Mysterio, and I got to tell him that story of like,
Oh yes.
and the fact that he still remembered, man, like he still remembers. Like, oh yeah, like Viscera, Akuza, like how's your pops? I'm like, oh, that's so cool. That was really dope.
Yes, yes, yes. So yeah, we remember those moments. How about the moment with Ricochet?
Ah, yeah. Well, I mean, like that wasn't like at that time, like I didn't know how you felt about him because
Oh,
that's when you first started. You know what I mean? Like
oh
I think
yeah,
you never
yeah,
like saw him in that light until that day. So I didn't really think
yeah.
much of it. But that was really cool, man. Like backstage, just nonchalant, came up to us and introduced himself. And I think we were talking to him and Cedric at the same time, like in catering, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I think so. I think so. You were there. So anytime I bring you backstage or Pedram backstage, I mean, who knows if that'll even happen again, man? Like, you know what I mean?
Mm,
With all the craziness and
seriously.
like, I hope, man. I hope, but like bringing guests backstage, who knows if that'll ever happen
I
again?
don't
You know
think
what I
so,
mean?
man. I don't think so.
And if it does, you'll have to be masked up. The one thing about the mask is just you don't see people smile. And
Yeah.
just for me doing the video game stuff, I'm saying to myself, you can fly me out every week to do this. This is beautiful because all I'm doing is working out at home anyway. I'll do that video game stuff all week.
Yeah, I bet. I bet, man. You know, uh, I watched the Super Bowl, and I know that's where they're gonna have WrestleMania. And man, I don't know if you watched it, but this year WrestleMania is gonna look good. It's gonna look.
Oh yeah, it's gonna look so futuristic.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And even like the capacity. What is it? They cut it in half, right? Uh,
I,
even the
I
cardboard fans, it looks good.
with the cameras. That's what it's all about. When you're there in person, I'm sure it's like, you're spaced out. Me personally, I want my space. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
So like, if I have to be spaced out, I'm perfectly fine with that because that's one of like my pet peeves. Like people hovering over me. When I'm
sure.
on stage, it's a little different because there's barricades and all that stuff. So I don't mind being out. But when if I'm at a concert, I always feel like people are like bumping into me. I always try to
Sure.
make myself small, but
Yeah.
I'm like, man, am I in the way? So I just find a wall or a corner to like just post up.
Yep.
And I never want to be like one of those people that just goes from side to side and like moving around. I like to stay planted. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I
yeah.
like I like to stay planted.
Absolutely.
Have you been? Yeah, to the football game. Was I like that? Well, I was just following you. You know what I mean? But like, I
You're
like to.
following me, but the behavior you're talking about, I saw it more at the Daily concert. Uh,
Oh, okay.
like you
Yeah,
were pretty posted there. Like
yeah.
at your
I don't.
spot, you're just kind of like observing. Like
Yeah, I don't like moving around. I don't like that, man. I like just getting. I like getting planted, and then that's that.
yeah,
So yeah, you understand. You
yeah.
understand me.
Of course, man. Of course. But to get a
Yeah,
little off track, with the Super Bowl, being an R&B fan, did you watch the weekend's halftime Super Bowl show?
yeah. I watched the whole thing. I watched it.
Oh, you did. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I watch it for the commercials. I just
Yeah.
watch it for everything. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Cena was in a commercial.
Was he? I missed that.
Yeah, yeah. I watched the whole thing. I forget what he was doing. But yeah, yeah. He was in a commercial. But yeah, I watched the whole thing.
Yeah, that just got me excited for WrestleMania because I saw it and it looked like even though it was half capacity, it looked good. And
I mean, it looked full to me. If you look at the crowd, they like blur out. They like there's a crowd moving, but they blur out like the faces when they're doing like when
yes,
they're on the field,
yes,
and like and they pan up. It looks like people moving and stuff, and it's blurred out. But yeah, they did it beautifully, man. And yeah, I can't wait to see how the WrestleMania setup is. What
yeah,
have I heard about WrestleMania? What have I heard about WrestleMania? I don't know. I mean, it's going to be a tight ship,
oh yeah, yeah,
I don't think a lot of people are going to have guests. I don't know what's going to happen, but the show must go on, right?
yeah, absolutely. And I thought it was cool too that in the Super Bowl, Chris Jericho and Tony Khan was in attendance. And
Mm.
if you saw Chris Jericho's Instagram, he posted a picture and it's him with a cardboard box next to him, and he's like, "Oh my God, like I'm sitting next to
Oh,
Bretman Rock," and like it was really cool because like Bretman Rock is he's like a Filipino um, male makeup artist, you know, and he's like a comedian too. And Bretman Rock was like, "Oh my God, like Chris Jericho knows who I am," and I thought that was just like a cool moment. And for Chris to like do that post, that was like everything, man.
bro, that same picture, I commented on Chris Jericho's picture and I said, "Oh my gosh, please give him my number." And he liked it, Chris Jericho. I was cracking up. And I think a lot of like, if you go back to that post, if you find it and go back to it, Chris Jericho's post, you'll see that that he liked it.
Oh,
So
cool.
I
Really cool.
so I so I was just having fun with that because you know me, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, man. This year, man, they might an Xbox podcast. I think Kevin Nash was on, but I think they might do the Hall of Fame virtually this year. Did you hear anything about that?
I haven't heard anything about that, but I guess I guess that's cool.
I
I
mean,
guess that's
what are
cool.
they gonna do, right? I mean, they can't like postpone it again. So I guess.
Yeah, I guess if there's a way to do it, I'm sure you can make a, people people are gonna watch it. People are gonna watch it. But
Oh,
yeah, you definitely got to do the Hall of Fame. Who are some of the Hall of Famers? I think
oh,
APA, right?
yeah, I don't. Is it maybe? I know JBL is going in. I don't know if he's going in solo or as APA. I thought he was going in by himself, but for sure,
Mm. Oh, maybe he is going by him. Yeah, maybe he is going by himself.
yeah, NWO. That's including oh, that's gonna be interesting because originally last year it was Sean Waltman, Scott Hall, Hogan, and the Giant. So that's gonna be interesting this year, which we'll talk about why later.
Yeah.
So the NWO, the Bellas, Batista,
Oh, really?
yeah, yeah, that was supposed to,
Wow.
yeah, Batista. That's all I remember. But those are some pretty big names.
So virtual meaning what they would still be in attendance in Tampa, but there would be no fans, right?
I imagine it to be kind of like the Slammy Awards. I don't know if you watched that, but they were basically at home, like with this kind of setting, and it was just like go to other people's home, you know. Or
Really?
I don't know. Some
Wow.
people might be in a studio. I think the hosts are gonna be in a studio, but I think the you
Yeah,
know.
because the Hall of Famers, I mean, you spaced them all out in a little studio in Tampa,
Yeah, maybe.
uh, you get it done like that, just like a presidential speech or something like that, like they've been doing with COVID.
But the thing is, like, I don't know if you watched the Golden Globes this weekend, but the Golden Globes was kind of done where all the celebrities were at home. They were like in their
Oh,
living.
okay,
So even when they
okay.
got awards, they're just like in their couch with their kids, like, "Hey, thank
Mm,
you." And then like the hosts, like Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, they were in the studio, but
mm,
the celebrities were at home. So I don't know, and I'm sure that's
wow.
gonna be that's I'm sure X Pac loves that, and I think like that's gonna help with his like nervousness, you know. Uh,
Oh, him doing it at home.
yeah, because like
Uh,
he said like he would never want to go in the Hall of Fame solo, and he thought it was perfect that he went in with DX because he hates like public speaking. So I'm sure like
yeah,
being at home and inducted this time with Hall, Nash, and Hogan, I'm sure that calms his nerves.
yeah, 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 for sure.
Yeah, man. Hey, what did you think about Sting taking that power? You worked with Brian Cage, I believe. So,
Yes, yes.
what do you think about him taking that power bomb?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was devastating. If the doctors cleared him to do it, yeah, I mean, do it. Nothing was like it's not like he was taking a buckle bomb, you know what I mean?
Oh man,
I
yeah.
mean, when you take that, I mean, I've ate the buckle many times, and it's not it's jarring. It's very jarring. So someone that age, someone that doesn't do it as much,
Yeah.
like your whole approach to the game has to change, the older you get, so him not doing the buckle bomb and him just taking something that's flat, uh, Yeah, I think it looked good to me.
It
I,
looked
I mean,
painful,
look,
but it looked perfectly executed though, the way he landed, you know?
yeah,
It was like
yeah,
perfect.
yeah. But again, that's still a delicate area.
Oh
So,
yeah.
they're taking that risk, and this is what we sign up for. It's not ballet. So, yeah.
It's crazy, right? Imagine being 61 and taking like a power bomb from like a muscular dude. Like Sting is in such great shape, you know, not just for his age, but just like in general. Like you can tell that he knows his body's like capabilities, like he knows the limits to his body. So I'm sure he's taking care of himself very well, and he knows that his body was up for the power bomb if he can do it.
Well, yeah, and again, his age. I remember when the Nexus us beat up Ricky Steamboat, and like
Wow.
us all in the ring. He took the 450 splash. Well, he
Ooh.
took a plethora of moves from us, but he took that 450 splash from Gabriel, and like the jarring
Hey, we burped at the
took.
same time. Sorry, sidetrack.
What's that?
We burped at the same time. When you burped, I burped.
That's weird, bro. That's that is so weird. Uh, but yeah, when he did that 450 splash, very jarring to Ricky Steamboat. I think he might have had a concussion, or
Wow.
yeah, he wasn't right for a long time.
Oh,
Yeah, he wasn't right for a while. But yeah, that's what happens, man. That's what happens. The older you get, and you're not in the ring doing it as much, it could be very jarring for you.
dude, I'm really happy for Cesaro getting his
Oh,
spotlight like that.
yeah, I mean, better late than never, man. He definitely
Absolutely.
deserves it for years. I know I've said it on the podcast, but he was my coming out match. You know what I mean? When I
That's
came
right.
out to the world,
Mhm.
like I was a nervous wreck. I said, Cesar, what can we do? Just be there for me. And he's like, Fred, don't worry. And
Mhm.
then he took care of me, man. The crowd was rocking and rolling for me. So yeah, that meant the world to me to have a good dance partner to go in there with. But yeah, he deserves it, man. Anytime we did like the first ever tag team elimination chamber that I was a part of,
Yeah.
he came up. Him and Tyson Kidd were like, they they have it here, and I just say, okay, I'll put my stuff in here, or I'll do this. They
Yeah.
they have it when it comes to the ideas and the structure. They're as good as it gets.
And I even thought he deserved it back in WrestleMania 30 when he won the the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, you know, and he was a Paul Heyman guy. I thought he deserved it then. But like you said, better late than never. And I just love his promo on Talking Smack with him just saying like hard work pays off, and you can tell he's speaking from the heart, and he's just like,
Yeah,
listen, like I love wrestling. I just love
yeah.
wrestling.
Someone like Cesaro has got to speak from the heart, because if you want to be one of those guys, oh, he's not good with promos and stuff like that. If you let someone speak from the heart, if I can speak from the heart, me
Yeah,
personally, it just comes off natural. It's just right now I'm me, just turned down a little bit. I can turn it up a little bit, but I'm me.
yeah.
And Cesaro is finally able to be himself, and I'm happy to see that.
And Seth Rollins is also a perfect dancing partner for him because they're real life CrossFit buddies. You know what I mean? Like they have.
Exact. Are you kidding me? I had photos on my phone of like my last summer before I got released of if there's no like LA Fitnesses or Gold's gyms around, we find a CrossFit gym, and we always find them there, CrossFit junkies together. So why not? It's only fitting that someone has a little pull between
Yeah.
the two. So is uh, Seth is the right guy.
And I hope we see that match at WrestleMania. You know, they're definitely building up to it, but I know we still have what is it, Backlash before Mania. But I hope like Cesaro gets a singles match at Mania because he deserves it, man.
Yeah, so I guess a couple of matches that I'm thinking of is Cesaro and Seth, right?
Right, right.
And then hopefully, I personally, before I lose track, I definitely want to see Lashley and Brock.
I think that's what's gonna happen, man. I think that's the reason why, one of the reasons why he has the strap right now is for Brock. And I think
Mm,
it's going to be really interesting when Brock comes back. Not only for him and Lashley, but where does Paul Heyman come into play for him
mm.
being a part of, like, he's so dedicated to giving his services to Roman right now, storyline wise. What's going to happen? You know, is he going to
Hey,
have that awkward talk with Brock?
I think I've said it on a prior podcast that I'd love to see Paul Heyman manage both of them, Roman and Brock Lesnar. You know what I mean? And they both just run through WWE. I think I probably mentioned that, and then you had an answer to my response.
But I think that would, me personally, I think that would only work for guys like when he had um like
Hey, look, Dude Love and Stone Cold did it, you know, right? Or
Who?
didn't a team Dude Love and Stone Cold Steve
Oh, they
Austin
did, they
back in the
did,
day?
they did. But I'm saying,
And
like a manager, like managing both top stars. Like I think Paul Heyman, it would work for like Joe Henning and Cesaro, like, you know, like, because like Paul would be like building them up, but for already like two established top dog superstars, character wise, it doesn't make sense for them to share a manager. You know what I mean? Because I think character wise, Roman's like, no, I want all your services for me. You're for me. And Brock would be like, no, 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 like you're my guy, you know? So I
well,
don't know.
see, this is how I look at it. Both of them, they're with Paul Heyman. Everything is going well, and then both of them turn on Paul Heyman, and then he's out of the pictures
Oh,
for he's out of the picture for a year, and then both of them fight it out, and then Roman ultimately wins. You know what I mean? So that's how I would do it. You know,
hey,
that's how I would do it. You know, speaking about it, pair these guys up, just wrecking havoc. Then eventually, you know, both of them start. Hey, Paul, you're with me. No, Paul, you're with me. Then, you know, Paul's like, you know, he's the lawyer. What wasn't his dad a lawyer? You know what I mean? So he's like,
yeah.
he's just a nervous wreck, and then they both beat him up. He's out the picture, and then they both,
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
that's perfect. That's some good long-term booking.
yeah, you know what I mean. It
Yeah.
never be done. And I'm looking at merchandise. You know, the merchandise that both guys can pull together. I'm looking at numbers, bro. I'm looking at numbers. So if you were sitting at the table the second time that we're talking about this, what would you say about that idea?
I know, I dig it. I dig it. Cause like I'm with you, because right off the bat, like the final conclusion that you talked about is what I had imagined, right? Like we both said Roman and Brock don't want to share Paul. That's why initially I thought it didn't make sense for them to share it, but for you to turn it into a storyline and it gets into that,
Yeah,
yeah, for sure, for
yeah,
sure.
long-term storyline, and we're creating television. So
Hey, Paul almost turned into like the next Cam Cornette for a little bit, because of course
bro,
they have
bro,
Jay and Roman,
he
right? But for a little
mhm.
bit, they tried Apollo in there. There's some like there's some segments on SmackDown where like Apollo was like sitting with Paul, and I thought they were gonna
Yeah,
go that route. But now I think
mhm.
it's a better idea for Apollo to turn heel on his own. Now he has a new ring gear, new attitude, and
Yeah.
he looks more comfortable for sure.
Yeah, I mean, being comfortable is key. I'm comfortable. He's comfortable. But don't forget, Paul Heyman, he had the Dangerous Alliance. If you go back to YouTube
Mhm.
and check out WCW, Paul Heyman, Dangerous Alliance, they were legit, man. He managed like four guys,
Mm.
all individuals, but team together. The Dangerous Alliance, it was like Arn Anderson, Bobby Eaton, uh, I forget some other guys. But yeah, you'd have to. I'm having a brain fart. The other two members of the Dangerous Alliance. But yeah. Paul Heyman's got some experience leading
Yeah.
factions.
Man, it's crazy, you know, hearing Roman sometimes like talk about Paul in like shoot interviews, saying how much history they have together with the Samoan dynasty and how much Paul was a part of that, you know, like him being on the road with the Wild Samoans. And at that time, he was just like a Jewish kid, you know, who loves the business and trying to work his way up. Now he's this OG vet. It's really cool.
Well, Yeah, I definitely got to tell you a story off air
Sure.
about Paul Heyman, and it's not a good one. But
Okay.
so yeah, so remind me.
Okay, I got two. Like I jotted
Yeah, yeah,
two.
exactly. I got it on my head too.
Hey,
Oh,
this has been bugging me. Like you mentioned Arn Anderson just now. Um, Back in WCW, I thought like the first, because it was like because of my age, I thought the first four horsemen was Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, Chris Benoit, Michael McMongo, right? I thought
oh
that was like the
no.
original. But was Dean Malenko part of the fourth horseman? He was, right? So they had
Yeah.
five?
Yeah. I think there was a time. Yeah, there was a time where it was like Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, Chris Benoit, Dean Malenko. Um,
And Mongo.
yeah, and Mongo.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how. Yeah, but yeah, I remember all those guys together.
Okay. Yeah. I forgot if Dean was a part of it or not. But yeah. Okay, I think he was.
Hmm.
Dude, like I watched the whole Elimination Chamber waiting for the Fiend and it never happened. I was so
Oh,
excited. I thought he was gonna come
oh,
with a different look.
oh! You want him to come back?
I think he's supposed to come back before Mania, or maybe he comes back in Mania.
Oh, because he wants to defend his title, right?
No, but I think he just has a score to settle with Orton because even though because Orton burned him alive, remember that was his last send
Oh
off.
yeah, yeah.
Alexa Bliss has been promoting the Fiend, like even though he's not there, she's there on Raw, like sending messages to Orton back and forth, mind games. And Alexa Bliss is doing like her best work right now, even though
Hmm.
it's not well, she is wrestling still, but she's doing her best work out of the ring, and it's
Hmm.
like she knows who her character is, and it shows. She's so
Hmm.
comfortable with it, and she's able to play around and have fun with it. And she's such a great actress, man. If she ever wants to pursue acting full time, she definitely has the talent for it. But yeah, I was looking forward for the Fiend to come back. I thought he was gonna come back with a
Yeah.
different look, but it never happened. So maybe Mania.
Mm. Yeah. 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 Definitely. And then if he comes back for Mania, who's he going to feud with? You said Randy.
I think it would have to be Randy because there's like a score to settle there.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'd definitely love to see that.
Yeah. Um, and one of the last things that I want to touch on is I don't follow up NXT with NXT too much, but I did kind of pay attention a little bit to the Undisputed Era breakup with Adam Cole. And I don't know if you've seen any of that, but I think their breakup was beautifully done because it was realistic, it was believable. It's not so much of like back in the days in the 90s where it's like the NWO, like, oh, if you're the NWO, you're the NWO with NWO for life. And then all of a sudden one guy at the NWO gets backstab and all of them like attacks that one person. And it just didn't make sense because like, wait, I thought you guys were like tight, blah, blah, blah. But this time it's kind of like how friends would really react when there's an argument within the group, right? Because it starts off with Adam Cole super kicking Finn, and then Kyle O'Reilly didn't get it because at that time Kyle O'Reilly's starting to build a relationship with Finn, and his best friend Adam just kicked Finn, so he's kind of like, wait, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then Adam super kicks Kyle, and then at that now Roderick, when he does that, Roderick Strong's stuck in the middle because now he wants to fix the relationship. Like my two best friends are fighting,
Yeah.
going on, like knock it off, guys, come on. And then later on, Adam Cole apologized and he was crying like, I'm sorry, I don't know what I'm doing. And boom, low blows Roderick Strong and super kicks him. And now it's just we don't know where Bobby Fish stands, but that's more realistic. Like that's more believable, right? When like you have like your group of friends and one guy decides to turn their back on all of you guys but do it like individually, and I don't know, it makes more sense to me.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And I definitely agree with the build up because it's not like, one guy attacks one and then everyone starts fighting. one guy gets attacked, and then the other guy's like, "Oh my goodness, like what are you doing?" You know, I
Right.
mean, again, building that drama, people don't expect that to happen in the ring. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, I saw clips of it online. Definitely thought it was told well, especially the way you explained it too.
Yeah. And like a perfect example of what doesn't make sense is back in the day when the whole DX turned their back on Billy Gunn and beat him up in the locker room. You know, now if you think about it in a realistic way, you know, of course, Triple H was the guy that had the main issue with Billy, but what was X-Pac's beef? You know, like why did he just like jump in there and like started like, you know, beating on Billy? What was like Road Dogg didn't have any issue with him. So again,
Yeah,
like I thought that that was how
exactly.
the Undisputed Era did it
Yeah,
that way.
that makes a lot of sense. That makes a ton of sense, bro. And you know, who knows? Probably Hunter produced that. You know what I mean? It's just a different
Yeah.
way of getting into it. You know what I mean? You learn from stuff you've done in the past. But yeah, you've got some great minds. You've got Shawn Michaels back there being
Yes.
hands on. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So like when you say that it was beautifully told, definitely someone like Shawn Michaels probably had his hands in that. You know.
Yeah.
But before I lose my train of thought, and I don't want to cut you off, we can't forget about the Big Show
Oh my God. Yes.
movement to AEW. But sorry to cut you off.
No, yeah. To tell you the truth, I almost did forget about that, but how could I, man? That's actually one of the things I really wanted to talk about. But when I first saw that on Instagram, I thought someone made that. Like, you know, people do that. Wrestlers like, oh, Brock Lesnar's all elite, Randy Orton's all elite.
There's one with me out there too.
Yeah. Until I saw that was actually from AEW's account. But I was like, oh my God, like I would have never, out of all the people, I would have never thought Paul Wight because he's such a company guy. He's been with WWE since 1999. It's he's like a Jericho, you know, like when people were shocked that Jericho left WWE to go to New Japan because he's such a WWE guy through and through. Like with Big Show or Paul Wight, I should say, like same thing, man. Like he just seems like such a
Hashtag
guy.
hashtag never seen it coming.
Never seen it coming. Absolutely. I thought like, you know, down the line, like even though he's not in the, I know his days in the ring is numbered, but I thought he was gonna be
Yeah.
a producer in WWE, still in the like in the Legends contract maybe. But I mean, word on the street is that like, you know, they didn't negotiate a deal that Paul was happy with, and that's why he went with AEW.
Something didn't add up financially, and
Yeah.
I know something definitely didn't happen the way he wanted it to go down. So yeah, man, I didn't see it coming.
Yeah, and Paul's definitely going to be an asset to AEW because there's so many things he can contribute to. You know, whether it's building up a wrestler, whether it's having some dream matches in the ring with Shaq, and Shaq's also in AEW. That never happened
Yeah,
in WWE.
yeah, yeah. He's finally getting his match. You know what I mean? Because he trained. It probably ate him up alive because he trained for that match and it just
Oh
didn't happen.
yes, yes,
So
yeah.
something didn't add up. WWE wasn't doing something right, and yeah, hopefully it'll happen on AEW's program.
Do you remember why it kind of fell apart in WWE?
I feel like it was a financial issue.
I might be wrong, but I do remember somewhat of him saying that when they were building up the match, Paul called Shaq fat. And at that time, WWE was really against bullying and like body shaming and all that.
Oh goodness.
And I think
Yeah.
I think Shaq actually got offended by that, maybe. So I think that's why it kind of fell through. That's what I heard
Really?
at least. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
But yeah,
oh, that's funny.
but man,
Yeah, that's funny.
man, with Sting and Paul White shifting to AEW, oh my God, it's a big shift, man. Like AEW came up that.
Yeah, it's a big shift, and like Paul White can do commentary. Like I love Big Show. I always call him Big Show for some
Sure,
reason.
sure.
I do know certain wrestlers' real name and their stage name.
Yeah,
Heath Slater, Heath Miller's his real name.
yeah,
Certain wrestlers I don't know, but definitely, he'll always be Big Show to me. And I always talk highly, highly of the Big Show because he was one of the guys that embraced me when I came out. And after he embraced me when I came out, he hooked me up at least 4 times with first class. When we lived in Miami, I had status, but he had like first class status. And on like 4 different flights, he somehow like, he's in a bad mood when you see him at the airport, but when he sees me, he's a lot more kinder to me. And he's like, where are you sitting at? And at the time, you could, he would do his vape pen and it would just blow out all the nicotine smoke, and that's when you could do that inside the airport. And like, I was like, oh, I'm back there with the poor people, and then he'd be like, all right, wait a second. Then he'd get up and he'd go, and this giant is standing over the thing. I don't know how he got it changed, but he would get the ticket, and then he'd come over and then put it in my chest. And
Oh,
I'd be like,
man.
oh, thank you so much, Joe. Thank you.
Oh, wow.
But yeah,
That's
man,
cool.
I'll never say a bad thing about him. Not that I need to, but yeah,
Right,
he
right.
always took care of me. He always took care of me. And that's why I always mentioned he was one of the guys that embraced me even more when I came out. So there's
Yeah.
a reason why I tell that story.
And I love that he's using the name Paul Wight because people remember the name Paul Wight because after he left WCW and he came to WWE, they first referred to him as Paul Wight. And I thought
Was it Paul White or Paul Wright?
White,
White.
Wight. It was
Okay.
Paul
All
White.
right.
He used his real name. And at that time, that was before WWE um, like did their like billion baby turns, like heel face. So he was still, people still took him super, super, super seriously, like how Kane was in the beginning of his career as,
Mm-hmm.
a destructible monster.
Yeah, I definitely remember when he threw Austin into the
Yeah.
cage and it broke.
And I thought it was really cool because the name Paul Wight is such a main event name, because of how he was featured in WWE when he was Paul Wight. And I don't know if you remember this, before he was the Big Show, for a couple of
Yeah.
weeks, they were toying around with the name Big Nasty. So it was
Mm.
Paul Wight, and then after that, they called him Big Nasty, and then it became the Big Show.
Mm.
But
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
I'm excited. I'm
yeah, I don't
excited
remember.
for him, man. In AEW, he's gonna do great things there.
Yeah, and Big Show's very. He's very outspoken too. So, uh, who knows what he's going to say? Has he made any like verbal sayings, or maybe he'll do it at a pay-per-view or something, right?
Yeah, hopefully this week, maybe on Wednesday. But
Oh, okay.
I didn't hear anything about him, like, from
Mm,
his word at least.
mm.
Um, but yeah, man, before we sign off, the last thing I want to ask is, what what match are you looking forward to at Mania, and what match do you think is gonna happen at Mania that hasn't happened yet?
I mean, honestly, you throw that question at me, uh, and I mean, I don't watch the product fully.
Sure, sure.
I'm kind of in my own lane. So I gotta apologize to you. But I think I mentioned earlier, one match I'm hopefully looking forward to is Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's one match I'm definitely looking forward to.
Yeah.
Um, when it comes to the women, I'm definitely looking Bianca Blair and Sasha Banks. Like
Yep.
that's money right there. I
Yep.
love what they've been doing. Sasha's my girl, but I have to go with Bianca. Bianca's got to have that WrestleMania moment. So,
Yes.
yeah, those are 2 matches I'm looking forward to, and
Great.
hopefully they do happen.
And I also think, as great as Edge versus Roman Reigns is, I think it might be a triple threat with Daniel Bryan, with everything that's been going on with Daniel and Roman. Like he's deep into the storyline with Roman as well, So I think it might be a triple threat. But man, if that happens, I think that will be the last match. Oh, it's 2 nights, right? Saturday and Sunday. So okay, never
Mm-hmm.
mind. But I think that needs to be a Sunday night match because so many people are invested in Daniel. So many people are invested in Edge, and Roman is untouchable right now. No
Mm-hmm.
disrespect to Drew because he's putting on the work, and Drew saved the company at a time where no one saw coming. Like he rose up to the occasion and he more than delivered. So no disrespect to Drew, but man, like Roman is just character-wise and in-ring skills-wise, he's just untouchable right now.
Yeah, I mean, you said it best, man. You said it best from what I'm seeing. He's definitely the head of the table, and
Yep.
he's untouchable.
Yeah. All right, man. I think that's the perfect place to wrap it up. Episode 68 is in the books.
Episode 68, therapy session down in the books, and it's just you and I, bro, just vibing it out. And who knows if we'll have another guest next week on Pro Wrestling. Life happens. I'm gonna actually be doing some more video game stuff
Very
next week, so my schedule's all over the place. In the process of working with NWA.
Wow.
So I think they're going to be flying me out the 22nd and 23rd. So I'm
Wow.
still getting it. I'm still getting the details as we speak. So that's
That's
a
huge.
major organization that I've never been a part of. So Simon Diamond, do you remember him from ECW?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's actually booking and giving me the 411 on what's going on. So, yeah, a lot of wrestling coming up, a lot of wrestling coming up, a lot of New Japan stuff coming up. So,
Wow.
got to stay grinding, baby. 37, and I'm making my 20s jealous of my 30s, baby.
Absolutely, man. As it supposed to be.
Yeah.
Thank you guys
Oh,
so much for watching and listening. If you guys are on iTunes, make sure you guys give us a 5-star review and let me know down in the review section what we can do better. And if you guys are watching us on YouTube, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe and all that good stuff. And with that said,
block the hate. Salute the great Arnold Talaga Arta.